Books you should read to deepen your love experience as you are navigating dating, romance, and ultimately love. Quick disclaimer, I am not just a content creator, y'all. I am a doctoral candidate, and love is a part of my research. So, you know, I think that's important to say as I'm going throughout these recommendations. But I will say, reading fiction has really broadened my scope of the love experience and how I articulate my experience, my emotions, my expressions in love far more and far greater than any nonfiction book or any research article that I read. So I just finished reading Kin. That was a phenomenal book. Um, I am also reading all of Kennedy Ryan's books. So I finished Score. I'm reading Real now. I know they're flip flopped. Um, the summer. What's the other book? The Before I Let Go. That is another great book, I will say. Um, Also, kind of not within the romance novels, but the entire series of The Children of Blood and Bones. I think the characters and how the characters mature throughout that series is also a great depiction of love. It's a great depiction of betrayal um, at its greatest sense. So if you want to understand love, the hero's journey, betrayal, and not necessarily exist within like the smut or the romantic novel ecosystem, I think that's also a great book. Now, when we are thinking about this as, or through the lens of essays or through the lens of scholastic work, bell hooks, I think starting with All About Love, this may be a hot take. I don't think that's the book that you should start with. As someone who is a bell hooks scholar, I dedicate all of my work to bell hooks. The Will to Change is my favorite book by bell hooks. Sisters of the Yam is another beautiful book. Also, Communion. Communion is such a beautiful book as well by bell hooks. Of course, All About Love, but I would encourage people to read Communion or The Will to Change first. Salvation is another great book by bell hooks. Nikki Giovanni's love poems. Poetry is a beautiful way of the articulation of love through a lens of like simplicity, but also delicacy. Any of the poems by Rumi, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful writings, depiction of love, especially through a spiritual lens, but also a romantic, intimate pleasure lens. I don't think people would expect religious scholars to speak about love through the intersection of vulgarity, but also like delicacy. What's another book? I'm trying to do this rapid fire because I am about to go study. Memoirs. That's what I want to say. Reading people's memoirs has been a great understanding of the signs to be aware of when it comes to love. I just finished Viola Davis's book not too long ago. I believe like 3 weeks ago this summer. I was also reading Sheila, what's her name? I forgot her last name. The co-founder of BET. I forgot her name, but just look it up. Great, phenomenal book. And again, kind of understanding love through heartbreak. I'm reading Toni Morrison's Beloved. That's a sad ass book. Okay. But the language is so beautiful, and you are able to like pinpoint all of Toni Morrison's like famous quotes. I think it's quite ironic when they are coming from like fiction, or not ironic, but it's such a pleasant surprise when you realize it's coming from her novels, from fiction, and not necessarily in a lecture or like, you know, lecture hall, seminar, workshop. Toni Morrison's book is also a beautiful, beautiful testimony on how language can be used, language to describe our pain, language to describe our love, and the intersection and complexity of love and heartache. What's another book? A lot of my research in love is mostly academic, and so it's coming from research papers, a lot within the relationship science, emotional science, also implementation, education equity. If you did not know, most of the scholars or public intellects that speak about love, their first start is in education. So if you are within the education industry, Teaching to Transgression is another book that highlighted how I want to show up through the lens of a scholar practitioner, understanding love, love as a pedagogy, love as academic, love as scholarship. So hopefully that helps. I'll put the captions on this video so y'all can, you know, write the names down, because I already forgot the books that I just said, but about to go study. Bye.